Hello everyone, welcome to Cinephile. My name is Al. Today I'm going to be talking about all the movies I watched in July. So first we're going to start with Triangle of Sadness. This is a rewatch for me, 4.5 stars. I watched the Criterion Collection disc of this and it was so gorgeous. I watched a pretty high quality version of this the first time as well, but it just looked so much better. I really like this one, and I think Dolly Leon was robbed of Best Supporting Actress. I think the acting in this film is crazy. If you don't know what this film is about, it's basically a group of people on a cruise. Things occur that are not pleasant, and it's kind of like a Lord of the Flies situation. Moving on, I watched Magic Mike's Last Dance. This one was kind of a letdown. I was hopeful after XXL because I actually thought that one was quite wholesome. Not that these movies have to be wholesome or anything. I just liked that vibe of the second one. And this one was wholesome in its own ways, but I do think these films suffer from a severe lack of continuity, which I know sounds kind of silly because it's Magic Mike, it's not that serious. I liked the dancing in this, but I thought the plot in the film itself was kind of meh. So then I watched Good Omens, the first season of the show. I love this show. These are my thoughts on only the first season. I watched the second season in August. Basically, Crowley and Aziraphale are everything to me. I love them so much. The chemistry is off the charts. I'm a David Tennant lover, always have been since I was a kid and saw him in Doctor Who. Some of the plot, I was more invested in the relationships of the characters than some of the plot itself. Not all of the plot, I did enjoy a lot of it, but that's where it loses the 1 star for me personally. It basically follows Crowley, who is a fallen angel and now works for hell as a demon, and Aziraphale, who still works for heaven, and they kind of have this will they won't they relationship, but also it's kind of just this commentary about humanity and the goodness and bad in everyone, and it's not as cut and dry as we think it is. And even if humanity is an absolute chaotic mess, a disaster, let's be frank, that it's still beautiful in its own ways. Then I rewatched the first Mission Impossible. This one's fine. I don't hate it at all, but I don't think it's very iconic outside of some of its iconic scenes. The plot overall is kind of strange in parts, and I think it's a pretty good intro into the franchise, but it's not the most spectacular thing I've ever seen. Then we have Book Club. I don't know how I got here. Some jokes were actually kind of funny, but I'm not sure if I was laughing with it or at it. I think moms would like this. I don't know what else to say. Then I watched Mamma Mia, rewatch of course. It's sensational. It simply never gets old. You think the movie's bad? Have you considered trying having taste? If you're an ABBA lover, watch it. If you like hot people, watch it. If you like pretty places, watch it. And then I watched Mission Impossible 2 and I hated it. Then I watched Hacksaw Ridge because I desperately miss Andrew Garfield. I don't really want to promote this film that much because I don't think it acknowledged the period accurate prejudice, racism, propaganda going on, but I do think the performances in it were very good. Then I finished doing my rewatch of all the Mission Impossibles. I really don't have too much to say about these, which might be controversial. They're kind of like the Indiana Jones films for me, where I enjoy watching them, but I don't really come away with a lot to talk about. My favorite is Ghost Protocol, which I think might be controversial because it's usually around the middle of people's rankings. It's by far my favorite. I think it's the most concise. The plot actually makes sense. There's really cool action scenes. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about those. Then I watched Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. This one's decent. It's probably my second or third favorite Mission Impossible movie. There's a train scene in it, so it automatically goes up half a star. If there's one thing about me, if a train is a setting, I'm gonna love it. I think the plot was the second most coherent. It was kind of predictable, as these movies are, but I am excited for Part 2, and I will obviously be seeing it. Then I watched Barbie. What is there to be said about Barbie? I personally came out of that theater being am I Alan? The sets are amazing. The costumes are amazing. The practical effects, I was living for them. It's so pink. I genuinely think some of this was crafted for me specifically. Some jokes made me actually laugh out loud in the theater, which is pretty rare for me personally. And I just think that everyone was incredible in this. Then we have Oppenheimer. It's so good. I'm a history major. I love history. This was fantastic to me personally. I think the critiques of it are some people think it's boring. I could not disagree more with that statement. Cillian Murphy is one of the best living actors of our time, and Robert Downey Jr. is so good in this. Florence Pugh and Emily Blunt are also incredible in this. Like, I swear to you, even the people who had one single line were absolutely on their A game. And I wish I could have seen it in 75mm, but I saw it in IMAX and it was fantastic. I definitely want to see it in theater again, but now's not the time nor place to promote that behavior. I said watch Nimona. I thought it was fine. So I've read the graphic novel since watching this. The plots are very different. I love the new Ballister character design, but I miss our bestie's long, gorgeous golden hair. I think the plot overall seemed better than the graphic novel to serve as a film, but I felt like the final act was a little bit dragged out, but I thought it was fine. It's great. I feel like kids would be obsessed with it. I love all the trans allegory stuff happening here, and it was great. Then I rewatched John Wick Chapter 4. It's so long, guys, and it's not as exciting on a rewatch, and to me, seeing this in people's like top 3 of the year is crazy. It's definitely not bad. Like, it's an action movie and it's doing action, like, but it's not my favorite thing I've ever seen. Then I watched They Cloned Tyrone. Guys, I am obsessed with this movie, and I feel like a lot of people are being like, it's fine, or like, it's not my favorite thing. It's a very Al movie. Like, sometimes I watch a movie and I'm like, the genre conventions happening here are targeted toward me specifically. Like, sometimes visually it's like that, and other times plot-wise it's like that. I love this. The acting is great, just by the way. John Boyega, an absolute legend. It's wild and wacky, and it has real-life commentary. You're kind of like, I know exactly what's going on, but also what the fuck is going on. And I just generally love movies like this. And I'm so excited that this ended up being as good as I hoped for. That's what I watched this past month of July. I hope that you enjoyed this. Again, this is for review purposes only. I really don't feel comfortable being like, go watch these movies, because I don't want to promote any of these studios, let alone streamers right now. So do with that what you will. Obviously, you're going to make your own choices, but I hope that you enjoyed hearing me talk about what I watched. If you liked it, please subscribe, leave a comment down below. What are some favorite movies that you watched this past month? Thank you. I love you. Goodbye.